let us take a moment, please, to say a fond farewell to whatever that hot mess was last year, and a tentative hello to whatever hot mess is coming in this year. Because whatever it is, I have the unnerving, unwavering, and eerie suspicion that it's coming in hot and fast and messy. And it's going to be whatever it is. Welcome back, friends. Welcome to a brand new day, a brand new era. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, and good night to you. It's Wednesday, January 1st. Happy New Year's Day to you. Whatever you did, however you celebrated, I hope you survived your own worst impulses last night and made it home in one piece, etc., etc., and that you find yourself in a good situation now. I'm not quite at 100%, but feeling much better as a relative measurement. And sort of just now enamored with the bizarroness of having this robot voice read the thing. I'm kind of getting the hang of some technical issues with it. And here we go. Please turn your attention to our newest sidekick, imaginary automated robot script reader voice.
New show, new year, new era, new robot voice speech text, script version 4.182. Yin Yang Happy New Year's Day Yin Yang Multi-Game Variety Chaos Variety Multi-Content Madness Yin Yang High Holy Days Yin Yang Back to the Almost Daily COD Grind Journey Path Yin Yang the Almost Daily Variety Chaos Gaming and Content Creation Live Stream Show Extravaganza Yin Yang. Let's activate the relaxed and groovy protocol, shall we? Ready. Insert groovy making sound effects here. Activating the relaxed and groovy protocol. Groovy making sound effects build into a comical crescendo and then fade away. Ah, yes. The relaxed and groovy feeling protocol is most certainly activated and kicking in. Machine learning noises sound effects here. Bleep blue blah bleep bloop blah. End sound effects of machine learning and transition to relaxed and groovy music. Music. Play relaxed and groovy music here. Successful activation activated successfully. We are now officially feeling relaxed and groovy together again for the very first time. My digital friends. Let's just chill and lounge and vibe and chat and do content creation and gaming action high holiday busy work. Shall we? Yin Yang, welcome to a brand new day of a brand new year. Yin Yang the Almost Daily Workpad Writing Special Segment Show Rebooted Yin Yang Character Screenshot Photo Shoot Saga continues in background. Yin Yang, maybe even some art making action. Or maybe some random gaming action. Yin Yang the Almost Daily Gaming and Content Creation Live Stream Show Extravaganza Yin Yang. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Here we all are, together again for the very first time, just like that one Dave Brubeck song title. Serious and honest unpaid real-life music recommendation and personal endorsement. If you have never listened to any Dave Brubeck albums, you have deprived yourself of some magical, joyous and thoughtfully complex vintage music. Go educate yourself about this now. And now on with our own humble little presentation here. Thank you for watching Live in the Moment, or after the fact on the VOD when I am not online. For this session we will be sidebar focusing on a silly and time consuming but also very boring and unusual task of grabbing a screenshot of the title screen of every game installed on my two different machines as we go along and play a variety of different GVIDEO entertainment games of all kinds. Please be patient as this busy work saga continues ongoing for several days, weeks, months. Join me in a journey through all the games that I missed out on playing over the course of the first 20 years worth of Xbox gaming history. A journey inspired by 2 decades worth of literal FOMO. A journey of making up for lost time. A journey to collect fan fiction inspiration. A journey through a landscape of too many games and never enough time to play them all in. A journey defined by chaos, variety, chaos. And maybe, just maybe, we might just possibly run a few Warzone solo mode runs. Maybe. But probabilistically probably not. This is quickly becoming my own insider joke on myself. And I am laughing at it each and every time. Yin Yang Happy New Year's Day. Yin Yang High Holy Days continue. Yin Yang Multi-Game Variety Chaos Variety Multi-Content Madness. Yin Yang Back to the almost daily COD grind journey path. Yin Yang the almost daily variety chaos gaming and content creation live stream show extravaganza. Yin Yang. Hello human viewers, hello human viewers, hello human viewers. Hello viewers and welcome back. Please be advised that all new chat rules are now officially in effect and will be enforced. By clicking yes to be able to chat, you agree to and acknowledge that you actually read the following. Please, no solicitations of any sales nor services. I am not interested in buying nor subscribing. No thank you. Be groovy. No trolling nor rudeness tolerated. Be patient. I will not respond to chat while I am busy with a fight. Drop your comment and please wait patiently until I have a moment between matches or monster fights. No recruiting. No. I do not want to join your Discord server. Yes, you can check out mine. IT is listed on my Twitch profile, and the same rules apply there. No requests for any kind of follow, just do not do IT. Violations of these any other part of the Twitch TV rules. Toos. Or EULA will result in a warning and maybe an immediate ban from my channel. Reading prior version of general chat rules. Patience friends. The chat is delayed, and I sometimes get absorbed in the games and take a little while to notice new chat comments. But I will do my best to reply ASAP. Peace symbol please. Be kind to each other. Peace symbol. Explosion haters, bots, trolls, and misanthropes will be banned. Explosion hand with fingers split between middle and ring fingers. Relaxed and groovy zen vibes. Please and thank you. Hand with fingers split between middle and ring fingers. Networking rules. Who's read the TTV EULA thinking face. Let us abide. Hello. Fellow content creators, please be chill and relaxed and groovy and do not spam the chat with obvious cut and past sales spam. Please and thank you. We were all N00BS1, so let us all be chill and groovy about gaming as a community. I'm just working my way up the ranks and trying to gather an audience of fellow adult gaming enthusiasts willing and able to support a content creator like me on a journey of many levels and lots of creative hard work. And I stand in support of. Please note, for your information, I was not feeling my best recently and still think that I need to rest my voice as much as possible. Thus my current use of this Robotnik automated host script reading machine. Please be advised that for when I do finally get into some gaming action, I will not be wearing my headset, to avoid the inevitable headset-induced mini migraine headache that I am prone to getting. Thusly and therefore, I will be generally not as chatty as per usual, and not chatting with my speaking voice because I have trashed my voice talking whilst feeling kinda sick. Thank you for your understanding in this curious regard. Thank you for your understanding in this curious regard. Thank you for your understanding in this curious regard. Warning disclaimer: I am gaming headset free for now, so all my gaming sound is going big on my awesome pair of insert product name here speaker system, which honestly just sounds amazing. I think I perform slightly better. I get fewer headaches this way also. Until I get chat activity I would need to reply to. I am mute my main microphone to avoid a game sounds echo tunnel sounds distortion effect by accident. Sometimes. I am going maybe totally fail at succeeding at that. Shameless self-promotional moment: I humbly invite you to visit my TikTok profile page and check out the hand-selected curated collection on the reblog tab. Insert the corresponding circle of arrows circle emoji that coordinates with the icon on the corresponding tab on my TikTok profile here. https://www.tiktok.com/@TheIncorrigibleMazepo. Welcome to an extra special Happy High Holidays episode of I Am Indeed Stoned. Quite high off my ass, if I may say so myself. Hi there, how high are you? Safety first. Please educate yourself about your own locality's rules, regulations, and corresponding regulatory frameworks. Yin Yang Happy Holiday Season. Yin Yang, the almost daily variety chaos live stream and content creation show extravaganza. Happy High Holidays to you, dear humans. Happy High Holidays to you, dear humans. Happy high holidays to you, dear humans. Ho, and to all a good night, good afternoon, good evening, good morning, and good night to you. Welcome to the almost daily variety gaming live stream show. Bleed purple, bleed purple, bleed purple, bleed purple, bleed purple, bleed purple, bleed purple. And now, dear audience, without further distractions or demonstrations, let us get to the very heart of the matter. What are we going to try and do today? The same thing we do every day. Dear audience, try to entertain ourselves and each other and build an audience for my absurdly rough and tumble project of many projects. As we play through a variety collection of games while also mixing in all kinds of other content creation tasks and side quests, whilst also launching the all-new 25 rebooted edition of the show and all of its many pseudo-special segments. Special ongoing mini-side quest saga each episode. Regardless of the intended titular featured activity, I will endeavor through the following hours, days, weeks, and yes, the whole year, to be focused on our special behind-the-scenes tedious but totally needs to get done content creation busy work task collecting game title and main character screenshots. I ended up just diving deep into a world-building discussion about the book series which I am experimentally developing. Speaking of which, you can find and read my established rough draft chapters from a wide selection of the many books from the hitherto unwritten Zepiverse book series. Right here, https://www.wattpad.com/user/mrzeppo. Please feel free to visit, read, comment, and critique. Just be advised that this experimental book series content is still in the early stages of development and meant for mature audiences. You have been duly warned and advised. Thank you for being here. Please be ready for lazy, relaxed, and groovy nonsense and eventually some fan fiction, fan art, work making, and good old-fashioned gaming action. Brace yourselves as we dive deep into a very shallow first impression look at the game Immortals: Phoenix Rising, on the next edition of First Impression Looked Bar. And now, please stand by and strap in. Brace yourselves for an avalanche of variety chaos, variety gaming all day and all week and all month, and all year long. Bleep, bloop, bluer, 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 bleep, 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 end opening script. End finito opening intro robo narrator host script variation 15.3. Robot host voice deactivating. Insert ominous digital sound effect here. Please proceed with live screen show extravaganza. Alternate script variations from past iterations curated and catalogued below. But I do not think I was nor am I meant to be currently reading this statement to you. Error code reading voice deactivating. Yeah. Off.
That makes me laugh. Hello, friends, and welcome to the show. What show, do you ask? Siege Tag Studio proudly presents the one, the only, the incorrigible Mr. Zeppo's almost daily variety gaming and content creation live streaming show extravaganza. And there should be like a comical new version number, like version 4.17.9 or something. But I haven't put that in there. Yada yada yada, come on through, friends. Alright. That's right. Happy New Year's. The camera's in miniature mode. We'll keep it like that for now. Hats off to you, friends. I salute you. It's a floppy hat to do that with, but welcome. It's been a crazy, wild, turbulent year, as you may or may not have been aware of, in terms of the current events and global circumstances. There's so much we could dive into discussing, and if you are a mature-minded, mature individual and responsibly interested in participating in public discourse about diverse and sometimes contradictory ideas, come on through and check out the podcast. Um, Hopefully, this is the year that takes off. It's humble and deep gratitude to all the audience that does indeed listen to it, as there's a handful of people listening all around the planet. But maybe I haven't been there enough, or consistent enough, or deep enough. I've been kind of sporadic and chaotic and sometimes totally irrelevant. Um, I haven't really defined. There's too many things going on in that project of projects, but so is there in this whole thing. I love the little bleeping, blinking live light on this. It's cute. It's supposed to look a little more like this though. Let's go adjust it. Correct. Boom. Wow. It's so bright. Oh, that's too blue. That's the right amount of white balance. Okay. I don't know what the difference is, but somehow, even though I blocked out the windows during the course of the day, enough sunlight leaks in and makes a weird photographic difference. You can tell. It's the middle of the day now, and then later at night, it's just gonna look subtly darker. But I digress. Or maybe I turned the light down a little bit. I mean, turn it up. Happy New Year's to you. Hello. Take a moment and breathe. Whoever you are, wherever you're watching from, take a moment and breathe and join us all in scrounging up whatever little bit of humble gratitude. Because sometimes that feels a little hard to do, but it's there. For having made it this far, right? Even if it feels like you're in some chaotic mess, or you're going through a tough time, or a phase, whatever it is, at least you're still here and you're still moving forward and you're still going to go through stuff. And in theory, on balance, it can, could, should, would, might get better. There. Tuck that little cable away magically. Pin on the corkboard. We do bluntly talk about real world current events and my sometimes bizarre, admittedly, I don't pretend it's not off the charts. It's a little weird, but some people find it passé and or irrelevant. But then again, they tend to find those types of people tend to find everything irrelevant, except for things that directly question and or challenge their framework. But I think that's sort of part of the deal here. Being alive, whatever shape or form you're in, whatever allegiances you think you've pledged, one of the callings here is to reevaluate everything at a fundamental level. And if you disagree with that, I guess it boils down to a matter of a difference of opinion on what the basic premise and or questions of life as both an individual and a participant in a collective, species-wide, generational, multi-century biological network, phenomena. I think we tend to not think about that too much. Pin on the corkboard. That's like the center of my thing. My whole point. But I'm not here to lecture. I am here to say thank you to any and all of the actual, authentically real human beings, whether we've agreed or disagreed, or whether you've been impressed or unimpressed with my experimentation with the content creation live stream projects so far. Thank you for for your viewership and what audience ship you have deemed me worthy of your participation. Because it is a bit of a thing. Whether you're talking about a movie or a video game or an event out in a venue, there are different degrees of effective effort swiping through things you could theoretically watch on your preferred uh, video swipey device screen might be, desktop or otherwise, is a different degree of effort than, um, you know, than, for example, if I were producing a live weekly entertainment variety chaos show where we talked about, in the style of, in the general vein of the legacy given to us, handed down to us by such great names as Carson and Letterman, and all the rest, culminating and not omitting in any way, shape, or form the Colbert and Stewart contributions to the genre. Uh, because although I often frame the ideas behind my show as if I were an AM talk show radio, that's the weird imaginary experimental part. Like if I were to write, well, how would I write it if I were writing a book series? Well, one of the many, way too many ways I would write it is as a 70s, back when radio had real power, you know? And like radio DJ celebrities were celebrities because there were no smart devices. We all turned to the radio for that like brain candy thought experiment, feeling like part of the public square, the public, especially the talk shows. What were the talk shows for? What was the point of? Many may not remember that era, and I may be over glamorizing it. It may have been tedious and boring and droll, and maybe super pedantic. I don't pretend to listen to a lot of talk radio in my current lifetime. I do feel like it was, especially in the mornings, a pretty hefty, if though, like it left a big mark, but that mark was more the interesting potential power of the medium and the ways in which I imagined I might tap into them if I had such a platform, and not so much deeply meaningful or scarring memories either way of the actual content consumed. It helped fill the time, but mostly it also helped trigger like my imagination, which was more primary to the thing I remember now. But I digress. Welcome either way. I am the weirdo, the one, the only, the incorrigible. And there's a reason why I picked that word there, friends. I love how both of these are not my live feed to my. That's great. They're not really there. There's a reason why, if we do try to do the actual iPad live feed, that I picked this word. Like that's a real word, and I'm using it as a character foil conundrum mechanic, because it's a whole system. Anyways, I also not really. I've very much been tinkering and thought experimenting, but not actually writing the book series very much for the past embarrassingly way too long. But today, guess what day it is? Today is Wednesday, which is the proposed theoretical day that I've been telling myself I will bootstrap myself to doing a little bit of work every day, and hopefully it will evolve and grow and attract its own primary audience as a segment, regardless of anyone else that has ever tried to watch my live stream on this or any other platform. Now, one of my management questions, like internal behind the scenes is whether or not I'm gonna try to leverage some more crowdfunding budgetary resources, which are, however, blessedly always kept just available enough to keep this show running in terms of like production costs and whatnot. What was I thinking about out loud? Oh, the live stream situation with Streamlabs. I still think it's been an ongoing thinking out loud process. Welcome to the show. I go on sidebars and then I share with you some crazy thoughts. Whether you've noticed it or not, whether you are familiar with what it is or not, anybody who may or may not be watching this live, despite the fact that my counter says we currently have 0 viewers, or in the not too distant future, for example, overnight when I go to sleep, lots of people seem to swing on by my page. I think I think for whatever reason, the primary current active like human eyeballs in actual personhood bodies, body avatars of like real life, authentic, genuine, hello audience members that swing by and watch my videos and like scrub through them and maybe look for the weird parts where I ramble. Maybe not. I don't know. Are on the wrong side of the planet, and I don't mean that in a bad way. I just mean that like they're never really going to join me live because I'm always asleep when they're awake. Even though occasionally I am live at the weird, crazy, odd hour for them to be like, oh my God, you're live. And to swing by and say hi. Hello to everybody. Because weirdly, on the video on demand shelf, and I'm taking a moment to hype it now to say thank you as a New Year's gratitude. May that spiral into some self-declared wanna be my moderators, community members who want to impress me by making intelligently chosen, clever, and or interesting clips, and not only clipping them and reposting them as a way for more viewers to find my profile page on Twitch, but also sharing them at me vis-a-vis somewhere where I can like then go, oh cool, that was a cool thing of them to clip. Do I want to write it down and or try to transcribe it? And for anyone who's interested in playing that game during the course of this next year, we'll see where we're at this time next year. On New Year's Day, this time next year, I might be high-fiving some folks or not embarrassingly not mentioning at all that I tried to throw a gauntlet down and say, look, let's see if we can recruit some community this year. I think we're building some headwind. Anyways, here's to 2025 being an interesting, progressive, and hopefully productive year on all fronts. Not just here on the Twitch live stream, which may or may not return to being a multi-stream affair that goes out to maybe a fewer selected number of streams at a time, and more intelligently, a different number of selected channels per day for funsies. So that it's not just diminishing the quality of the video stream. Because right now, especially when I remember, dun dun dun, to put it in performance mode, the resulting video on Twitch tends to look pretty dope. So, and if I were to be doing just Twitch and TikTok one day, and then Twitch and Facebook the next day, and Twitch and something else the next day, keeping it to maybe like 2 or 3 that rotate, the video quality would remain pretty much this good. It's only when I try to push it to max. These are the things I learned over months of experimenting with trying to go maximum broad spectrum multi-channel streaming on the daily. And some channels encountered audience growth. Other channels did not. And curiously, other channels have then encountered more audience growth since I've stopped live streaming. So I'm thinking of maybe bringing it back and then being a little bit more proactive and a little bit more decisive and specific about themes, days of the week, so that like each platform feels like it's got a different day of the week that rotates, and the only one that's daily is Twitch, I guess. If anything's daily. I still gotta take days off during the week. And I've been debating what to do with Sundays, and I think I should comply and in a sort of dudism, sort of like we all must abide to some sort of impulse. There's an impulse to be like, that should really be an all screens off day, period. For the sanctity of whatever is the divine internal physiological phenomenological mind body soul trifecta. In secular non organized fashion, there must be such a thing. I've come to determine. We can debate it. No one's been able to change my mind otherwise. There is such a thing. It doesn't operate in any of the ways that most of the organizations lecture about from my direct phenomenological experience, but that's a whole nother discussion. It's also part of the fun and, admittedly, corkily fictionalized aspect of my book series, which I welcome you to. New Year's Day, curiously and oddly, landing on a Wednesday. Welcome to the inaugural Wattpad Wednesday multi-episodic mini. I'm going to do mini things all day. And this is sort of the pre-game. It's always following the same format I always have. But in the beginning, we're going to chit-chat and set a sort of vision for whatever we're doing. And y'all gonna just follow along in a sort of time dislocated fashion, and you're gonna just embrace that, because I have too much freedom, if there's such a thing, within the limitations of my otherwise arguably somewhat unfortunate set of circumstances, which are as much private as they are comically part of many of the characters' backstories that I'm writing about, in some exaggerated, narrowly focused, broadly exaggerated way or another. I don't want to talk about it or linger on it at a personal level, because it ruins the fun of discovering all the different ways that I've peppered my real life circumstances into the large and quite cacophonous cornucopia of characters that you will slowly get to know over the course of the following year on primarily Wednesdays. So, programming note, whether I woke up relatively early this Wednesday, but I also dragged my feet in terms of getting to the turning on all the widgets and being ready to go live. But here we are. And I did not actually launch with a special. Well, that's one of the things we need to do. We need to make a Wattpad Wednesdays starter slideshow widget. So we're gonna do that now live. Please join me over here on the iPad. DJ said, play something different and long, and that we haven't played in a hot minute. I know that you can't. Do you filter by duration? Size? View options? No. All extensions. There's got to be like show by time duration. No? No, I don't want to delete anything. Stop with that. Okay. I think this is the longest one we've got on here, right? Make sure in fact, lower it a little bit from there, because I'm going to be talking a lot and I don't want to feel like I'm supposed to be yelling. Put it. Yeah. DJ Z is annoyed that I'm playing his music so quietly, but thus is the way of things. Join me over here let me just check that things are correct. This is our standard slide show. We're going to select a few things. That is standard. That is standard. We can skip that. We can make this, and this, and this, and this standard. We don't need to repeat variety chaos. We don't need to repeat any of that. We do want a little DJ Z boop boop boop. It doesn't need to be exaggerated. I'm going to use one of these again. This is an intro, so we don't need to put outro. We're going to start making outro slideshows, darn it. Okay. We still need to make new signage. So as I was saying, primarily Wednesdays, but also other days as we get into a... Well, I'm trying to type this on my keyboard. And we didn't even... We didn't even properly do it like that. Oh, spell that correctly, please. Now we have. iPad Wednesdays. How do you spell writing? Crying out loud. Just one T? That's wire. Why did it change it to wiring? WRIGHTING? Is that how? How do you spell it in your universe? Why is it wrong? I've spelt it so many different. Oh, is it just? It's not RITING, is it? iPad Wednesdays. Let's do voice narration. Wattpad Writing Wednesdays. Okay. 1T. Fine. Now do we have a Wattpad? Don't we have a Wattpad image? I should. There, Wattpad 18. There's already 18 widgets. Let's select that one. I like that one. Is that? That's a live stream episode of the show. We already have solo. Welcome to the Zeppelverse. Welcome to the Zeppelverse. Boom, boom. The moral of the story. Okay. Wait, where are we? Here we go. Come on. What's the difference between this and this? A weird, different date and time. They look the same. This one's got more of a header. This one's got less of a header. Okay, that's Still, all that bottom is out of order. Bum, 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 bum. We're gonna do a little bit of DJ Zed right here. This one is in that frame. That one is not. Isn't that the one that is? Boom, 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 boom. Okay. We now have a little bit of a pretend it's the beginning of the very, very beginning of the live stream. Cut through camera of me not coughing. Greetings and salutations. Imagine a world where I don't have a lingering cough. That is sometimes a lingering I was just sick for a few days cough. I can't tell which one it is right now. I think it's a bit of both. So I apologize if I don't catch the microphone or if I unmute it and I'm still coughing because I thought I was almost done and then it just keeps rolling or something to that effect. Welcome. Happy New Year's. There's so much to dive into and there's no one watching, so it's funny and weird. 43. I almost feel like I should cut it off right there because it's a magical number, but it's too late. It won't make sense because it'll already be more than that. I just thought I'd announce it. But welcome to the first day of that. What is Wattpad? You might be asking yourselves, for those of you who are super new. Wattpad is a website that is like social media for aspiring novelists, like for reals, like people who want to write novels and book series and that want to get readers to read them and want to get discovered by whatever industry eyeballs may or may not be reading these things to discover them. I technically have been on there for a long time, but I've also sort of been putting minimal effort into it whilst not minimal effort. I've been putting in haphazard, disorganized effort And one of the things that I've been doing is struggling with the sort of we'll just put it plainly, the fear of bringing that actual workload that I know would need to happen to actually be the end result product, which is a finished part one, part two, part three book series that would be like the initial um, primary three-part book series that introduces the world to this complicated which and the I guess I totally suffer from a deeply crippling um, like fear of discovering that I'm actually just investing way too much in an imposter's vibe. You know, like I don't know that I have it in me to really write a book series, but I've always wanted to write a book series. Just like insert your favorite multi-book author, you know, here. In part because I have no lack of crazy ideas in my head. I just have always sort of felt inclined and intuitively informed that I'm meant to be a collaborative writer, and the if there is a real life cowboy country music tragic comedy ingredient to my life is that everyone's gone, uh huh, right, yeah, clearly, good luck with that, and no one's ever been like, me too, I'm looking for you and you're looking for me in any way, shape, or form, right? And I don't mean to over romanticize it or under romanticize it or scape. I'm not using it as a scapegoat. It is what it is, and I guess I haven't built enough of it because buried in that weird, painful reality, which may or may not be a reality and may or may not be a completely made up fictional aspect to the book series that I'm writing. Because I do indeed, whenever you see me on live stream, I am mentally cosplaying as the character and not being my actual real human real life self. A little bit all the time. I digress. Uh, we're here to launch and hopefully really follow through on the bare minimum requirement. I'm going to say this is that at least on Wednesdays, I do an episode where we talk about what's happening, what did or did not get added to the book series on Wattpad, and what did or did not get developed live or off stream or in some combination thereof on a page that maybe has yet to be posted to Wattpad and may or may not be theoretically posted on this Wednesday. Like today, I have 0 new pages to add. And I was motivated yesterday by the vision of being like, what we'll do is we'll reintroduce the show because we're rebooting it. It's an idea that's been sort of struggling to bootstrap itself into existence, but all the pieces of which I've been sort of mentally exercising in one level or another. And I do have like backlog pages that need refining and need more work that are sort of in theory in line to be the production line to sort of have many stages of stuff ready to be attacked and start flowing faster than if I had absolutely 0. And whatever audience gathers around, you are all humbly invited to be the audience collaborative audience participation portion of the show. And your first assignment is to, whether you've ever been to Wattpad or not before, go check it out for yourself, despite the fact that we will be on a regular basis, including at some point later today, whether it's during this particular segment or if I break it off I'm going to be leaving segments in interestingly weird, sometimes curiously short nuggets to be easily digestible by people who are swinging through and checking it out for the first time or whatever that week, next week, in the middle of the month. And for viewers who are like, I'm on board, but I can only come by and watch out chunks. Watch the chunks on every other Sunday. So come on through and check out all of the things labeled Wattpad Wednesday. If you don't want to watch, like for example, if it won't be if it's labeled Wattpad Wednesday, it won't include the Call of Duty I might game for today, which I still intend to because as part of my long-term research and my own personal real life my real life goal is to, get better at the game and conduct enough research into the game, its culture, how it develops year to year to then intelligently write about its historical echo in the not too distant dystopian Zeppoverse future, which is a fictional future set in a Zeppoverse multi-layered, multi-world, echo chamber of many realities happening in a sort of they're all following a similar but also eerily dissonant set of potential futures in different ways. Where one of which a motley crew of new gaming enthusiasts who are in different stages of their life discovery, because it's as if, how technically, however long and or old you think video games have been around, and you think of them as, oh, they've been around forever, like there are still people alive, and I am technically one of them, who remember a history, a period, before they really didn't exist at all. Not at the level at which we know them now, and that we couldn't imagine them. Right? I'm old enough to remember that. And I'm old enough to remember people who had lived various generations worth of lives, accrued together in whole periods of history where they didn't exist at all. I saw the roots of where they originated from become what the fruit of what we're seeing, bear fruit now, and what we are theoretically imagining the not too distant future and the adjacent unimaginable actual future just beyond the horizon of what we can imagine will comprise thereof if things continue as they are in terms of the gaming industry. Pin on the corkboard. My literature also comments on everything else. So brace yourself. You may or may not be on the team you think is, the good guys in my book series. And there's no guarantee, because part of the conscious effort being espoused by me as an experimental author is to try to turn a little bit of everything inside out. And I'm reporting for duty, friends. Today is the very first Wattpad Wednesday. I'm going to take it easy on myself. But also, there's enough content out there that theoretically any number of new viewers that are joining us today for the very first time will be like, oh, okay, there's plenty to read here, that I can read a little bit today and then set aside a little bit of time and on my preferred reading day for online fictional development, experimental audience participation based project. Whether you want to participate on Wednesdays, or your best day is Saturday in the afternoon, or you can follow along a little bit every day, or whatever it is, there's already probably way too much content, especially if you include the podcast ingredients that are part of Wattpad Wednesdays, where whether you want to go binge listen to it now, or whether you're going to let it be a interesting experience when we get to it. And I agree. I think that a combination of the two might be the most fun, especially if you're a brand new audience participatory viewer / reader / listener. Uh, the if you were whoever you theoretically might potentially be, if you happen to be if you were theoretically watching this for the first time, and maybe also there's a version that's different from you that's listening to this for the very first time. Because I am going to, however awkward and rough this is, I'm going to cut it off soon and make it an audio episode because it's just the right length right there to do it. Um, I humbly invite you to jump and skip through an odd number of, not all of, but an odd number of the world building special series, and just expose yourself to it, or maybe pick a few by according to what the titles are. Some of them are conceptually self-contained little rough drafts of a story idea. Some of them are me over explaining the meta narrative in one way, shape, or form or another, but never managing to over explain all of it at once. And some of them are like this, sort of like, welcome new viewers and or listeners and or readers. Here are some signposts. If you are a returning audience member, and you've only ever watched the live stream and you are dipping your toes into the podcast for the first time, please be advised. It's broken up in different things. The main Zencast channel is where there's a deep dive, full history mix of, and where usually I debut the brand new episodes of all the different segments, so that it's relatively easy for anyone to find a broad spectrum collection. But also, there can then go to each particular episode, each particular special segment series, and do their own deep dive into it. Whatever's in the world building episode over the course of the next 3 months, this first quarter of the year 2025, I'm going to be leading my own workshop series of, I'm going to collaborate with my past self and go, what the F did I post there? Because at a certain functional level, I could not recite to you the words again. And I'm going to listen to it for multiple reasons. A, to refamiliarize myself. B, to make content out of that, of Mr. Zeppo responds to Mr. Zeppo's own special series, the World Building Rough Draft Idea podcast series, where we take, and I'm also going to be simultaneously running my transcription audio recording app in the background, which does a pretty decent job, although sometimes it does a really wild and wacky, totally crazy and incorrect transcription of my thing, but is currently the simplest, freest way for me to be like, oh, let's go listen to an old episode of any of these special segment series and listen to it in such a way that this device can also listen to it, and I can listen to it, and we can all listen to it together, and I can pause it and respond, etc. And this thing can transcribe stuff. It's not currently listening, at least not actively. At least I haven't asked it to. In fact, the last thing I left up was my meditation app. I have a bunch of new alerts, which I'm all going to clear from memory. I missed the button. I did it again. Jeez. Clear. At any rate, welcome. So what I'm going to be doing throughout the course of the day is reintroducing you, and I need to take an actual video live stream break, is reintroducing this whole thing here on Twitch and on Sprecher.com. And I might do a completely different episode. Instead of taking this audio and making it a crossover episode, I might just do a separate new recording after taking a break. And then we're going to live stream a reading of the like book flaps of all the books, if that makes sense. As if we were in a Zeboverse corner of a bookstore. It's like, all right, people who walk into this bookstore, here is the entire collection of the Zeboverse books as they exist. But it's a virtual bookstore, and some of the books are very, very incomplete. But you can go and browse them. In fact, I humbly invite you to. And here's the way to visit. Um, I have the wrong slide up. Let's find the right slide, please. Boom. And I implore you to visit solo.to /Mr. Zeppo in order to track all the different parts, working parts, moving parts of the Zeboverse. They're all getting rebooted as of today, this minute, this hour, this week, this month, this first quarter of the first year. So welcome to that process. If you go to solo.to /Mr. Zeppo, you should be able to easily find the wattpad.com /user /Mr. Zeppo link to Wattpad. You do not need to, but it can, could, should, would be a huge help to you. And I think to me also, the way Wattpad works, if you made yourself a free account. Like all social media platforms, they have some sort of microtransaction mini economy thing going on as a way for you to support the authors. And I'm not soliciting that, but if you do find yourself willing and or able, I would be deeply grateful. But I'm only actually soliciting / inviting those who are interested in reading my science fiction action adventure book series with a incoming, because I haven't, none of the current sample chapters have any real weirdness of the video game fan fiction part, but it's all the groundwork for it to be about to get drafted in is been laid, and all the research for me and for my brain that needed to happen in terms of playing a bunch of different games and having a bunch of different games to play and talk about playing over the course of the next year as part of an embedded working MacGuffin, like, you know, the live stream is, always has been, always will be. Welcome to that weirdness. The clips will become things that other characters will have watched and will then discuss and have meta narrative weird character based discussions about, which will then impact the fictional worlds in hopefully interesting, weird, curious ways. And it'll all sort of fold back on itself, because the only way this works is if I start featuring my own prior content from the podcast as a way to improve it, deconstruct it, analyze it, transcribe it, and then be able to use this transcribed content in an editing format kind of way. To that end, what I wanted to make this particular segment about is New Year's and New Year's Day and marking it, because part of talking about the real world and real world events, despite this being a working fiction, a literary fiction workshop, is that we want to incorporate some of that stuff into the lore of the fictional worlds, as a way to demarcate deviations from reality in a meta-narrative kind of way. So if you would please indulge me and yourselves, dear whoever you are, dear potential audience, whether you're watching now or in the not too distant future, watching on the video on demand shelf, or in whatever other way I redistribute this, because this one I will be highlighting on Twitch and re-uploading to YouTube. Please do take a deep dive and join us in the coming days, weeks, and months as we invent, repackage, and reboot the Almost Daily brand to include many new ingredients, including on Wednesdays particularly, and any other day when the muse takes over, the writing of this action adventure sci-fi fan fiction book series set in a weird, um, like unique, branded, and hopefully theoretically, because I'm commodifying the very presentation of me creating it, legally protected because you all are watching me write it, so don't steal my ideas. Book series. All right, enough vamping for the introduction. This will be a weirdly tedious process show, the live stream version, especially this full on trying to Big Brother, uh, um, not really 24 hours it. Although I'm gonna please take note, in the fiction it will be written as if there had been cameras on me 24 hours a day. I am not going to do that. I can neither afford nor am I interested in that extra level of of tedium of being on stage all the time, even though I'm sitting, trapped in my own home base environment that is also supposed to be the place where I have privacy, right? And also vocal cord exhaustion, because I refuse to practice any of my professional training um, out of just sheer brute force of bad habituated vices that I am indeed trying to quit. Primarily the over dependence on daily caffeine ingestion, at like sometimes truly like dramatically unacceptable amounts, and uh, the smoking of tobacco products, which I've talked about much on the live stream, but it's going to be a theme in the character development of many characters, because I feel like the world is going to go through like a final conniption fit, as I think the last of us old timers who haven't quite quit, whether we wanted to or not, haven't yet, and those who will successfully before whatever big, rest of their life is really due. And I don't know. I don't know if I will or if I won't in my real life. And I guess to a certain degree, I want to write a character that reserves the right to either quit or either not quit and not be judged. And we'll have to deal with it if we do have to, if they do survive into truly dystopian. Um, there is no more production of cigarettes at a mass production level. Is he such an addict that he will try to find a way to hoard and or produce for himself? Because I think that'll be a funny place to create character dynamic. Because arguably, that's one of the things where in the world there's either still always enough laying around for people who smoke to keep smoking. Because, I mean, arguably in prior fictional products that deal with tobacco product placement, they had product placement. I officially do not. By the way, despite the unfortunate fact, and this makes me laugh in real life, lol, so hard, not on camera, and then occasionally also on camera, so hard. I'm not currently like guffawing, but I may guffaw, especially if we ever get into rereading any of these comments, as I have many of them lost. One of the things we will do as part of these segments is a special segment that will be a live stream crossover to the podcast permanently, which will be just an easy way to do it. And it's meant to be a short show, like under an hour, of like, here's a few memes from the past couple of years that you may or may not have read. And I'll have like the real life version that I encountered, and or maybe a like Zeppo verse, like if I had written it, how would I have written it differently? Um, sort of version of the meme, which I may or may not have already done. It's all sort of an ongoing process, which is intended to come out someday as a coffee table book based on the things that are in my Instagram account whenever we finally get the crowdfunding enough to like commission an Instagram account coffee table book, which there's some like self-publishing website company out there that does that. That's just like, just let us log into your Instagram account and we will extract, rearrange, and publish as a big, giant, luxurious, glossy, full color, or black and white, or however you want to organize it or not organize it. And I forget what they're called, and I'm not sure. I'm not trying to endorse them. Paint on the corkboard. I just want to acknowledge that I authentically want to do that someday, but I want to spend the rest of this next year as a live stream, adding new iterations and or a whole year's worth of new content to the Instagram account live on stream, and bring back some of my classic Zeppo, Mr. why I consider him the incorrigible Mr. Zeppo in the first place, like real world commentary memes that are already there, and some that may have never really, for whatever reason, never really made it, but have been sitting around in folders that I have laying around. Hopefully, knock on wood, I can still find them, and any gems that we might discover whilst delving. And it'll be called, a special segment that we'll do maybe once a week or once a month called Digging for Mr. Zeppo's Lost Memes. We need to make that. Speaking of which, hello and welcome to the New Year's craziness. I'm going to take a break, and this is going to become a crossover audio podcast episode 2. Although, man, is it too long? It's an hour and 12 minutes and 13 seconds plus. So, no, I think it's the perfect length. Thank you for joining us. This will be a tedious process, but it will also, in theory, if I can harness the willpower and the energy to do what apparently everyone else in this business does all the time, it will also render funny, succinct, like sketch comedy instances of my own thought-provoking thoughts in more condensed, formulaic version that challenges you to come on over to watch and or listen to the podcast and or watch the live stream, and or maybe not. You know what? Instead of porting this audio, I'm going to challenge myself to do a fresh, new welcome to the New Year's podcast episode over on Sprecher.com, which will hopefully sound cooler because I'll do it with my throat comfort special licorice and slippery elm tea, which, by the way, is no longer findable, or at least wasn't the last 2 times I've been to my favorite grocery market. I need to go look forward to some of the other ones where it will probably be twice as expensive as I remember it being the last time I got a box or 2. So, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. I will also be back to the live stream. Maybe we'll make the next episode the crossover episode and record it live. I don't know. But for now, I'm signing off because I've got to attend to some of my nanotechnology bio break features that require attention. Blinking lights are on my internal message dashboard. Please attend to these urgent nanotechnology. I need to come up with the nanotechnology Mr. Zeppo version of what Gaia is. Like like a human being says Mother Nature's calling. A techno robotnik being would say, insert missing dialogue here. And on that note, we're gonna rewind and replay our danceable songs. Peace out, friends. I will be right back. It'll be a great and slightly short breakfast brunch break. And then I'll be back with more controversial stuff, self-promoting stuff, content creation, and any content creation projects.